White Protestant Americans are the real oppressed, and proud nativists all over the USA support President Trump in fighting for our culture and traditions. It's about time we had a president who is going to stand up to these one-world types. You know, the ones who want to let anyone into the United States. Especially, those who want to overthrow our culture, even our government, and have killed more Americans, real Americans, who have been here for generations, than you can even count. To hell with these traitors who say we nativists are un-American. Well, I'm here to tell you that what I believe in is as American as apple pie. It's in our history, just look it up. From the start, we've fought about the same questions. Who belongs here? What does the economy need? What, indeed, is an American or who is fit to be one? In 1751 Benjamin Franklin warned that Pennsylvania was becoming a colony of aliens, who will shortly be so numerous as to Germanize us instead of our Anglifying them and will never adopt our language or customs any more than they can acquire our complexion. Later Jefferson worried about immigrants from foreign monarchies who will infuse into American legislation their spirit, warp and bias its direction, and render it a heterogeneous, incoherent, distracted mass. Back in the 1830s and 40s, it was them Irish Catholics that were coming over and ruining our country. To protect the good Protestant white people from the scummy Irish Catholics, in 1834 good Protestant workmen from Boston burned down a Catholic convent in Charlestown, and in 1844, native-born Americans in Philadelphia rioted for a week, destroying many Catholic churches and neighborhoods and killing at least a dozen immigrants. It was regrettable, but necessary. Eventually, we had to form the Know Nothing Party in the 1850s, as things got even worse. Organized Catholic opposition to public schools justifiably intensified our good old American nativist suspicions that they threatened the American traditions of civil and religious liberty. Why them immigrant Irish Catholics opposed funding of public education, just because we wanted to have the kids say good Protestant prayers in our schools and they would have to help pay for it. Can you believe it? We didn't get rid of the Catholics and Irish, but at least they didn't get into the White House until 1960. Now don't get me started on the Chinese. By God, they were taking our jobs and we had to do something about it. If the Supreme Court hadn't struck down an 1858 California law in 1862, we wouldn't have had to go after them chinks ourselves. There was a lot of fighting between them and us and it got pretty rough. But, when President Chester A. Arthur signed the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, we finally had a president with the balls to protect Americans from the Chinese hordes. We made sure those yellow hordes were made permanent aliens, so they couldn't become United States citizens. Back at the beginning of World War II, we nativists finally got the credit we deserved. We knew, that there were Jap and German spies by the thousands and something had to be done about it. We rounded them all up and put them in camps. And when the Germans sent in hundreds of spies with the so-called oppressed German Jews, we sent them packing back to where they came from. They weren't going to pull a fast one on us. Of course, now the government wants us to think that there were few, if any, of those Japs and Jerrys who were spies, but we know better. Be alert, my fellow Americans. These immigration lovers are up to their old tricks again. They want us to think that them Muslims from the Middle East countries, like the 7 our smart president wants to ban from coming in to wreak terror on Americans, are refugees running from death and destruction in their own countries. Don't these guys read about the 5-year-olds and women with explosives strapped to them? It's not just the men we have to worry about. So rally around our new President Trump. Don't listen to the fake news from CNN, ABC, NBC, and all those other so-called mainstream news outlets. The new administration has the alternative facts to these dangerous and lying organizations. Help the president shut these traitors up. The only truth comes from the Trump administration. And remember, President Trump is watching you.